There is a moment every professional fails. The room goes quiet, and you feel the need to speak, to explain, to soften, to add one more sentence. And the moment you do, you lose. Not because you were wrong, because you revealed where the pressure lives. You state your number. It's strong. Then comes the silence. Most people panic. I'm flexible, we can discuss. They negotiate against themselves. The Trinity move? Nothing. Hold. Because whoever speaks first carries the pressure. Boardroom. You present your position. Someone asks, "Are you sure?" Most people collapse. "I think so, maybe." The Trinity response? Yes. That's it. No explanation. No retreat. Because authority is not what you say. It's what you don't add. There is a moment every ambitious professional has experienced, and almost every one of them has failed. The room goes quiet. The negotiation stalls. The conversation reaches a gap. And something inside you, something biological, something urgent, tells you to fill it. To speak. To laugh. To explain. To add one more sentence to the point you already made perfectly. And the moment you do, you lose. Not because what you said was wrong. Because the act of saying it told the room everything it needed to know about where the pressure was sitting. The person who speaks first to fill a void is the person who feels the most social pressure. And the room reads that signal with clinical precision, whether it knows it is reading it or not. Most professionals have been taught that social fluency means knowing what to say. They have spent careers perfecting their language, sharpening their arguments, preparing their responses. And then they walk into a high-stakes silence, a negotiation pause, a boardroom hesitation, a social void, and they collapse it instantly. They trade their authority for comfort. Every single time. What they were never taught is this: silence is not a void to be filled. Silence is a weapon. And most professionals are handing it to the other side voluntarily. My name is Grace. This is Trinity English Scholar. Welcome to Executive Gravity, Social Strategy. This is the session where we do not work on what you say. We work on what you do when saying nothing is the most powerful move available to you. Today's PDF, the Still Axis, Social Strategy Reference Guide, is linked in the description. Download it before this session ends. Most people will watch what follows and recognize themselves in it, and do nothing with that recognition. A few will sit in the discomfort of what they see, rebuild the pattern, and become the still axis in every room they enter from this point forward. If you are still here, you already know which one you are. Stay with me. Case Study 1. Here is a case study. You are in a salary negotiation. You have stated your number. It is a strong number, researched, justified, structurally sound. The hiring manager looks at it. There is a pause. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. 7 seconds. The silence is expanding. Nothing is being said. Here is how a non-Trinity scholar approached the case study. I mean, obviously that's my ideal number, and I know it's on the higher end, so I'm definitely open to discussion. I was thinking we could maybe find a middle ground? I just want to make sure we're both comfortable with whatever we land on. I'm really excited about this opportunity and I don't want the number to be a deal breaker. I'm flexible, honestly. What were you thinking? Trinity scholars approach. Nothing. The Trinity scholar holds the silence. Maintains steady eye contact. Remains physically still. Does not adjust posture. Does not reach for water. Does not add a single word to the number already stated. They wait. And they wait with the composure of someone who already knows the outcome. Trinity analysis. The non-Trinity scholar did not lose this negotiation because of the number. They lost it in the silence that followed the number. The moment the pause arrived, the biological pressure became unbearable, and instead of governing that pressure internally, they externalized it through language. Obviously. I know it's on the higher end. I'm flexible, honestly. Each of these phrases is not a negotiating position. It is a status surrender delivered in real time. By the time the non-Trinity scholar finished speaking, they had pre-negotiated against themselves, introduced doubt about their own number, repositioned themselves as a petitioner, and handed the hiring manager a roadmap for exactly how far they could push back. The Trinity scholar understands that in the architecture of negotiation, the silence after a stated position is not dead air. It is a structural test. It is the room asking, "Do you believe what you just said?" Biometric stillness is the answer that requires no words. It communicates certainty through the body before the mind has processed anything. The stillness says, this number is not a request. It is a position. And positions do not apologize for existing. The hiring manager now carries the full weight of the silence. They are the ones who must speak. And whoever speaks first to break a negotiation silence has just told the other party where the pressure lives. That is not confidence. That is architecture. Principles. You just watched biometric stillness operate under the most financially consequential silence a professional encounters. Now we establish the full framework, because what you witnessed in that case study is one expression of a much larger structural principle. The first pillar is the still axis. The still axis is the governing concept of the entire social strategy framework. In every social environment, every negotiation, every boardroom pause, every dinner table silence, every moment where conversation stalls, there is a center of gravity. That center belongs to whoever is generating the least visible pressure. Not the loudest person. Not the most senior person. Not the most prepared person. The person who is most still. A still axis does not react to the social environment. The social environment reacts to them. This is not a personality trait. It is a structural position that is either claimed or surrendered in every high-stakes social moment. Most professionals surrender it without knowing it exists. They walk into a room already vibrating at a frequency of need. The need to be received well, the need to be liked, the need to fill every gap, the need to confirm that everything is fine. That frequency is detectable. The room reads it. And the room adjusts its treatment of you accordingly. A Trinity scholar walks into the same room vibrating at a frequency of sufficiency. Nothing needs to be confirmed. Nothing needs to be filled. The room is not a test to be passed. It is an environment to be governed. That shift in internal frequency is what creates the external stillness that forces others to adjust to you rather than the other way around. The second pillar is biometric stillness. Biometric stillness is the physical architecture of the still axis. It is the deliberate governance of every visible biological signal in a high-pressure social moment. Most professionals leak pressure through their bodies before they have said a single word. They adjust their posture when challenged. They reach for water when a silence expands. They laugh when something is not funny because the social gap feels dangerous. They over-explain a point that landed perfectly because the other person's neutral expression read as disapproval. Every one of these micro-behaviors is a status signal. And every one of them tells the room the same thing. I am feeling the pressure of this moment more than you are. Biometric stillness is the structural refusal to transmit that signal. It is not the suppression of feeling, it is the governance of expression. A Trinity scholar feels the pressure of a 7-second silence in a negotiation. They do not externalize it. Their body remains a neutral instrument. Steady eye contact. Relaxed jaw. Shoulders down. Breathing controlled. Hands still. The body communicates one message to the room: I have been here before. This does not move me. And that message, transmitted entirely without language, shifts the power architecture of the exchange before anyone has spoken. The third pillar is the strategic pause. The strategic pause is the deliberate deployment of silence as a structural tool. It is the difference between silence that happens to you and silence that you create. A Trinity scholar does not only endure silences, they engineer them. They understand that a pause placed after a strong statement does not weaken the statement. It amplifies it. It gives the room time to feel the full weight of what was just said. It creates a moment of cognitive processing that a rushed continuation would have collapsed. The strategic pause is also the primary mechanism for refusing to chase social validation. When you make a point and immediately follow it with "does that make sense?" or "you know what I mean?" or a nervous laugh, you are chasing. You are reaching back for the approval the room has not yet given. The strategic pause is the structural alternative. You make the point. You stop. You let the silence do the work. You do not reach back. You do not explain. You do not soften. You wait for the room to come to you. The still axis. Biometric stillness. The strategic pause. The second case study is where most C-suite aspirants lose status they have spent years building, in a single unguarded social moment. Watch carefully. Case study 2. Here is a case study. You are at a high-stakes dinner. Present at the table are 2 senior partners, a potential board member, and you. The conversation has been substantive and measured. You make a strong observation about the industry. It lands. There is a pause. The senior partner looks at you, not with disapproval, not with agreement, with a neutral, evaluative expression that reveals nothing. The silence sits. 3 seconds. 4 seconds. Here is how a non-Trinity scholar approached the case study. I mean, that's just my read on it. Obviously there are a lot of factors I'm probably not accounting for. I'm sure you've seen this play out differently at the board level. I don't want to oversimplify it. What's your experience been? I'm probably missing some context. Trinity scholars approach. The Trinity scholar holds the observation. Does not retract it. Does not qualify it. Does not laugh to soften the gap. Maintains a composed, open expression. Allows the silence to complete itself. When the senior partner speaks, the Trinity scholar receives their response from a position of stillness, not relief. Trinity analysis. The observation the non-Trinity scholar made was accurate and well-framed. The room registered it. The senior partner's neutral expression was not disapproval, it was evaluation. They were processing the weight of what had been said. And in that processing pause, the non-Trinity scholar panicked. That's just my read on it. Obviously there are factors I'm probably not accounting for. I'm probably missing some context. Each of these sentences is a retraction issued before any challenge was made. The non-Trinity scholar argued against their own position in the absence of any opposition. That is the most expensive form of status surrender available, because it tells the room not only that you feel social pressure, but that you will dismantle your own authority to relieve it. The nervous laugh is a particularly damaging signal in this context. Laughter in a serious professional environment is a pressure valve. When no one else is laughing, it reads as a solo acknowledgement that you do not fully stand behind what you just said. The Trinity scholar's stillness after a strong observation communicates something entirely different. It communicates that the observation is complete. It does not need to be softened, qualified, or walked back. The senior partner's silence is not a threat. It is a response pattern that the Trinity scholar has encountered before and does not find uncomfortable. That composure is the signal the senior partner is actually evaluating. Not the observation itself. How the speaker holds it under scrutiny. Case Study 3. Here is a case study. You are in a boardroom. A decision is being debated. You have stated a clear position. A senior colleague pushes back, not with data, not with a counter-argument, but with presence. They lean back. They look at you with a measured expression. They say nothing for a long moment. Then, are you sure about that? 3 words. Delivered with weight. Designed to make you retreat. Here is how a non-Trinity scholar approached the case study. Well, I think so, yes. Obviously I could be wrong, based on what I've seen, it seemed like the right call. But I hear you, maybe I'm not seeing the full picture. What's your thinking? I'm open to reconsidering if there's something I'm missing. Trinity scholars approach. Yes. 1 word. Delivered without elaboration. Without apology. Without the invitation for further challenge. The Trinity scholar holds eye contact. Does not shift posture. Does not reach for their notes. Does not add a single word to the one that was sufficient. They let the yes occupy the room completely. Trinity analysis. Are you sure about that? Is one of the most commonly deployed social pressure mechanisms at the executive level. It contains no data. It presents no counter-argument. It is a pure test of biometric stillness, designed to determine whether the speaker will hold their position under the weight of implied skepticism. The non-Trinity scholar failed this test completely, and failed it before any actual challenge was presented. I think so, yes. Obviously I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture. I'm open to reconsidering. The position was fully dismantled in 4 sentences in response to 3 words that contained no substantive opposition whatsoever. The senior colleague did not defeat the non-Trinity scholar's argument. The non-Trinity scholar defeated it for them. The Trinity scholar's single-word response is a masterclass in the strategic pause deployed as a closing move. Yes is a complete sentence. It requires no scaffolding. It tolerates no qualification. It communicates that the position was stated deliberately, has been held under pressure, and does not require the room's validation to remain standing. The silence that follows the yes is not uncomfortable for the Trinity scholar. It is structural. It is the sound of a position that does not move. The senior colleague now has two options: present an actual counterargument, or accept that the position holds. What they cannot do is apply more social pressure, because the Trinity scholar has just demonstrated that social pressure is not a force that moves them. That is the still axis in operation. If you have ever watched yourself retract a perfectly sound position because someone looked at you with a neutral expression, this channel was built for that exact moment. Subscribe right now. Like this video. Share it with one person in your professional circle who you have watched collapse under social pressure they were more than equipped to hold. This series does not end here. And neither does your architecture. Key takeaways. 3 operational directives. Not motivational statements. Structural instructions. First, identify your pressure leak. Every professional has a specific behavior they default to when social pressure builds. Some laugh. Some over-explain. Some qualify perfectly sound positions before any challenge arrives. Some reach for water. Some break eye contact. Your first task this week is to identify yours with clinical precision. You cannot govern a pattern you have not first named. The audit is the first structural move. Second, treat every silence as a structural event. Starting today, every pause in a professional exchange is a test of who carries the most pressure. The question you ask yourself in that silence is not "what should I say next?" It is "can I hold this?" The answer is always yes, if you have built the biometric stillness architecture. If you have not, the silence will answer the question for you. Third, stop chasing validation after strong statements. The next time you make a point in a professional environment, stop. Do not add "does that make sense?" Do not laugh. Do not qualify. Do not look around the room for confirmation. Let the point occupy the space it earned. The strategic pause is not a gap in your communication. It is the completion of it. What you say matters. How long you hold it after saying it determines whether the room receives it as authority or as a question. Homework. 3 components. All mandatory before the next session. Component 1. This week, identify one moment in a professional exchange where a silence arrives, a negotiation pause, a meeting hesitation, a conversation gap, and do not fill it. Hold it for a full count of 5 before speaking or allowing yourself to react. Write down what happened. Write down what the other person did. Write down how the exchange shifted after the silence completed itself rather than being collapsed by your intervention. That data is your first evidence that the still axis operates. Component 2. Audit your last 3 high-stakes professional conversations and identify every moment where you qualified a position that had not been challenged. Write down the specific phrases you used. "I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm not seeing the full picture. I just wanted to add." Map the pattern. Identify the trigger. Was it a neutral expression, a pause, a shift in the other person's posture? The trigger is the architecture of your pressure leak. Name it before the next session. Component 3. In one professional exchange this week, deploy a single word or single sentence response to a question designed to make you elaborate. Hold the response. Do not add to it. Do not soften it. Do not explain it. Let it stand alone and allow the silence that follows to complete. Write down the other person's reaction. Write down how the dynamic of the exchange shifted in the moments after. That is your evidence that the strategic pause is not absence of communication. It is the most precise form of it. Your PDF is in the description. The still axis framework, the biometric stillness diagnostic, and the strategic pause deployment guide, all mapped and ready for immediate field application. Download it. Use it this week. Most professionals spend their entire careers perfecting what they say. The executive level is governed by those who have mastered what they do not say. The still axis is not a personality. It is a structural position. And it is yours to claim. I am Grace. This is Executive Gravity, Social Strategy. Linguistic Lab continues in the next session. Do not miss it.